Welcome to What's Buzzin', a space where vendors, coordinators, overall business owners can come and express how they feel or what they've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly, in a marketplace. We're excited to share that today is going to be our very first episode with a special guest. Get your teas ready because it's going to be buzzin'. Let's get right into it.
Well, firstly, my name is Kianya, and I sell waist beads. I own 7K Collections, been running it for about 5 years. Owning a business, I sell online, but then I also do markets in person and things like that. First of all, I do almost 15 to 20 markets a month. Well, I've been doing that.
Damn, girl. That's a whole lot.
It sounds like it, but I created a job out of it, basically.
Period. I love that for you.
And I've been doing that consistently for the past 6 months, ever since I came back from Africa. So
you're from Africa.
I'm not from Africa. My family is, but I'm born and raised out here. But I went earlier this year to get some of my products, actually. So, Anywho, so this is the first time in as long as I've had my business that I've done markets this often, this consistent. So I've gotten to see a lot of ups and downs. And what I noticed as a vendor, not just for me, but a pet peeve for me is when I arrive to a site or a location that I'm going to be selling at, and the organizer hasn't really thought out the organization plan, and the vendor, they're scrambling.
They're kind of just looking for, where's the coordinator? Where do I
where's
go?
Where's the coordinator? Or where's the event? Where do we park? Things like that. If things aren't sorted out beforehand, then as a vendor, especially when I deal with other great organizers like yourself.
Oh, period. I was about to ask you, what do you think about me?
There's different levels to it, I guess, but I noticed when there isn't organization in the beginning where vendors are going to go, where setup is, and I don't think sometimes organizers or new organizers realize how frustrating that could be for vendors, especially those of us that do it as a source of income or that's our daily bread. And then when you see the ups and downs in comparing, and it's simple fixes too. Some organizers are receptive to the feedback and then they act on it, and then others aren't. So for example, say it's a hot day, just to give perspective. If it's a hot day, I arrive, and sometimes as a vendor, you know if the organizer is organized or not, because maybe they'll send an email late, they haven't confirmed your payment. Things are just, you can tell and get an inkling, but especially if you've already paid, you kind of got to go. Or it's the day before your event, you look in your email, they haven't sent you a location or where you're going to be set up, or even a map of where you're going to be vending at. So you're kind of confused when you arrive. Then you finally locate the organizer, and say it's a hot day, you set up, and then they're like, oh, actually, we're going to have you move over here, and you're halfway set up, or you already taking things out of your car. And it's like, I have to put on a nice face as a vendor to present to my customers so that I can make sure I'm making revenue. But if I'm already upset before the event starts, then it just puts a bad taste in my mouth personally. And then if it's happening to other vendors, then the whole market can be disrupted before it even starts. So it's little things like that, knowing where you're going, parking, where the vendor's going to park. Sometimes they don't sort that out, and then they don't realize if you're downtown LA, there's not going to be anywhere to park, and then people's cars get towed, things like that. So even if you've had a good day and then your car gets towed because the organizer didn't think about parking and stuff like that, then it ruins your day as a vendor. So those are some of my pet peeves when organizers aren't organized. That part.
I feel like when it comes down to moving you, it just depends. For me, if I would have to move a vendor and they're halfway set up, I don't think I've ever had to do that. I know I've told people like to scoot back, but if I was in that situation, for me, I think it would be because either there's another waist bead vendor right in front of you. Girl, you gotta move.
And understandable. It's understandable.
But if it's a hot day and you're just chilling, if you're just barely setting up and then ask you to move.
You know, it's more like we're going to put you here. And it's like, okay, I know.
But they had
you just thought about it right now, just 5 seconds ago. So then for organizers where it becomes frustrating, but it's different if it's like, oh, we sell the same thing and then the organizer has to move. That's reasonable. What I'm talking about, you just didn't think about it until you saw me and then you realize I'm the only one over here. Stuff like that.
So would you want to be there if you were the only one there? Let's say there's 2 rows of vendors and then you're still within those rows, but you're all the way in the corner and there's 2 gaps because those 2 vendors didn't arrive. Because it can be scenarios like that where there's my vendors, there's 2 vendors that didn't arrive, and there's a vendor right in the corner. And it's like, do you want to be a part of the market? I know it's going to mess up on yourselves because people are not going to just want to go.
It's understandable when it's mishaps like that. But when I could just tell that you're saving certain spots for your friends that are late anyway. and then I'm thrown over here and then you move me and then I'm like, oh, well, shouldn't it, if you don't have a map, then I think the rule of thumb that we've all came to a conclusion of that is first served. So if I'm here and there's 4 spots right there and there's no preset map, and then I know that's your friend and I'm over here in the corner, that's not fair to me. Favoritism, lack of planning. Now, for certain events, again, sometimes you can give organizers grace. For example, if it's an organizer that does an event that's once a year, right? So let's say, for example, Juneteenth event, Hispanic Heritage Month events. Those are the big ones. Those are sometimes once a year. So I understand if the organizer does this once a year, but if the organizer does 100 events a year, come on, what's going on?
Where's the follow-up, girl? Get your shit together.
That's like, so
I know you got a lot of work, but it ain't my fault.
Sometimes it's just, I could tell lack of planning, lack of consideration. One time that happened to me and the person told me, so me and 2 people ended up having to be off into the corner, and it was off-putting when he said it, but I know he didn't mean any harm. But it's like, if I was the wrong person, they could have took that the wrong way. So this is why you need to be prepared. So it just so happened that me and one girl was leaving early, so she needed to be in the corner. I just happened to show up and he didn't have a map. So then pushes me over into another corner and he goes, I'm going to move you because the optics of 2 black women in the back. And it's just like, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I understood where he was coming from, and I'm here for the people. So it's just like, and then when it was time for him to move me, it's like it was hot, or if it's super cold and things like that. So it's, you encounter other situations that could have been mitigated had you just had a map.
I see. Yeah. Did you book late though? Nope. Oh, that's his fault.
No, it was kind of, no, and it was crazy because this was the event that, it was crazy because none of the vendors paid before he started advertising us. So this is what I mean when it's like, you can tell things wonky. He didn't have a form like some organizers do, or however we signed up, but then he started advertising and it's just like, none of the vendors had paid yet. So it wasn't set in stone. And he said, oh, I'm going to send you an invoice 3 days after he started advertising. So now people are pressured. Well, I guess I got to go to this event because he's already advertised me. That's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt, and a couple other vendors, because it's just like, you started advertising us. Now people are on your page. And it's like, I appreciate that. So now I feel prompted to go. But it's like, I actually had another event that I could have went to.
Strategy.
And I see why now. It's a good strategy because it got me. I did not think about that. That is his strategy. So that's what I mean. How you going to send the invoice after you told everybody that we're going to be at your market? Like, the invoice is, or the payment is what solidifies everything. Right. So it was like things were already being done backwards. And then you get to the event and then you got to rearrange.
That's kind of tough.